Hi everyone, I'm just here in beautiful Hidden Valley, which is about 50 or 60 kilometres north of Melbourne, just where the hills start, and just been working on some stuff in the office this morning and just taking some time out just to reflect and thinking about the 2013 Gallup report, which has been basically it's been causing some shockwaves around the world. The Gallup report, the engagement report, is a report about the level of worker engagement or happiness in around 140 different countries worldwide. That's what makes this report so interesting and significant, the fact that it's got such a broad coverage of countries. What's interesting is that the numbers of people who are shown to be engaged, that is really happy and contributing at work, and that word contributing or contributor is one that I prefer to use because it implies the engagement, if you like, of all of your hands, your heart and your head in your work. And the number of people who are engaged in that way worldwide is, guess what? Only 13%, 3%. What that means is that, if we can be negative for a second, about 87% of the global workforce is not engaged at work. Now that varies between country and country. I think the United States has about 23% engaged. So we might think, well, that's fantastic. Australia's got about 22, something like that. But be honest, those numbers, the variation in those numbers is not great. I mean, if you've got 13% or 23% of your workforce engaged, I mean, well, you know, good luck to you, to be honest. I mean, what if you were to have 100% of your workforce engaged? That's a big difference. Now, why is this important? Because we're now living in an age of social collaboration. We're seeing the development of new networks of people, new ways of doing work, which have been enabled by social media as a platform that brings people together, that breaks down the firewalls in those organisations, that draws people together voluntarily to be able to engage in conversations, to share information and to create. A guy called Clay Shirky has written this extraordinary book on unpacking what social media means for business right now. And that book is called Cognitive Surplus. In there he says that what social media is doing, in effect, is recreating the platform for community. And community is, at its best, is where you see individuals coming together to do three things. One is to consume products and services, which has been, if you like, at the heart of business, and certainly the industrial model for 300 years has been about seeing people as consumers. But it's much more than that, because before the Industrial Revolution created all these hierarchical organisations, which saw customers as consumers only and people as cogs in a machine making products and services, what you saw was a community where people came together to consume and to make and to share. And that's the exciting thing about social media. And what Shirky says in this book so brilliantly, Cognitive Surplus, is that the best of social media is now turning it into the best of business production. And Don Tapscott, in his wonderful book Macroeconomics, is saying the same thing. And both Tapscott and Shirky are saying that the focus is often on the technology of social, the platforms, the technology that enables people to communicate and to collaborate, the new social knowledge systems. Now, all that is brilliant, but guess what? None of it is going to work unless there is a culture in place. You might call that a social culture, and a positive social culture that willingly, that brings people together in a collaborative way based on shared values and shared behaviours. So I wanted to share that idea with you today. I've had the opportunity and to discuss this with colleagues in Australia and overseas, and have been deploying some of the latest technology in the world around engaging people's strengths. Because one of the things that Gallup pointed out is that the most engaged people in the world, the ones who are ready for collaboration, are engaged by managers who actually identify their natural strengths or wiring, their natural talents. There's big conversation now around talents and collaboration. But what we now know, we didn't know this a few years ago, is that everyone is wired differently. and there's a set of natural behaviours. So some people, for example, are really wide around relationships and diplomacy, and they like to spend time building conversations. Others are very much fast-paced and want results. Some are into continuous improvement. Others want innovation. You can't just say to people, okay, we're going to innovate when half the population isn't naturally into innovation. You've got to spend some time unpacking this, and then we're going to spend some time understanding how we're all wired differently and how that's going to work in a way that works for each of us. I've been very privileged in the last few months to be working with one of Australia's fastest growing health franchises in the physio space. And those guys have been exploring rapid growth, experiencing rapid growth, but they wanted to go even more into that growth. And they've got a core team. And the CEO, Alan, sat down with me last year and said, look, Jeremy, I think there's something that's missing here. You know, we're very much into the rational business space around numbers, you know, and facts, and we're going to have this explosive growth around X and Y. He said, but there's something missing. I think it's got something to do with collaboration. And he said to me, well, Jeremy, what are the models out there around collaboration? And I said, Alan, the model that you're looking for already exists. It's inside your team. Just a question of asking the right questions to bring that out. So we engaged in a conversation with the team, brought them together using the appreciative inquiry conversations around what works. For example, when have we seen collaboration working well and uniquely in our environment here? And then we spent some time unpacking their natural wiring and built a team profile around their natural strengths. They began to discover and to empathise around difference, and then to work out how they could collaborate in a way that produced an authentic conversation, because at the heart of social media, great social media, working well without the risks, with good safety, and with flow, and with high trust and creativity, is the idea of being authentic. And authentic means that what you say and what you do, you actually believe. And no technology comes bundled up with all that in place. You've got to build it. There's no shortcut. But I tell you what, if you invest in this, and you put some time into building that culture, the dividends you get back from your social media strategy and your technology will blow you away. So just want to share some thoughts with you around that. Have a great day and catch up with you soon. Cheers.